saints. I said good evening, saints. Today is Monday, October the 30th, and you are tuned in to FCN Prime News. I'm Trezene, your anchor for tonight's episode, but I prefer to be referred to as Sister Church Mother Missionary Trezene, if you will, representing the Mount Moriah Assembly of the First Baptist Episcopal Methodist Apostolic Church of God in Christ, where the Bishop Apostle Rufus the Third is my pastor. Praise God. Why do I feel like I'm going to get a call from my mother right after this airs for making fun of church? I know she's texting me right now. She's like, I did not give you that hat so that you can make fun of Black church on screen. Listen, church mothers are either the worst or the best. They're either the most kind human being you've ever met, or they are the meanest, just the meanest. If you have a good church mother, though, you know she's always got some type of goodie in her purse. She's got mint, she's got gum. But if you're lucky, she will have some of these. Happy National Candy Corn Day, everybody. I love candy corn. Even though I am fully aware that there are 1,000,001 of you haters out there who are always talking mad trash about this delicious treat of high fructose corn syrup. Listen, it's so good. Candy corn is never going anywhere as long as church mothers exist. And these joints remain $2 a bag. Any of you guys dress up over the weekend? Any parties? Dress up at work, or you plan to go out tomorrow with friends and your kids? Please drop your pictures into the comments. Tell us what your ideas are. We want to see them. And if they're good, you know we will post them. So I know we're probably joined tonight by a lot of newbies. So FCN Prime News is not like your regular news. So we're going to give you the spiel on how this works. One, oh my God, like candy corn. First things first, we definitely encourage comments into the comments. So when you're watching this, put your comments. Tell us what you're thinking, questions, ideas. We're always on social media. We will respond and interact with you guys. And number two, when you see a story up here, you'll see a picture along with the hashtag. And so that hashtag is for you. So when you're commenting on stories, put the hashtag of the story you're commenting on so we all can follow. And then, of course, if you've got a really dope comment, you know we're going to like, share it, and engage with you. And then third, always share these videos with your friends and your social media pages so that they too can get in the action. All right, let's get into these stories. First up, over the weekend, there were some white nationalists who gathered in Tennessee to protest. And one of them ended with a white woman being assaulted by leaders in the white nationalist movement. White supremacists, neo-Nazis, and fascists all descended on two Middle Tennessee towns Saturday for a White Lives Matter rally, striking fear into communities desperate to avoid the type of violence that came with Charlottesville, Virginia, about 3 months ago. An umbrella group of white supremacist organizations called the Nationalist Front held its first rally early Saturday morning in a town called Shelbyville, which has about 21,000 residents and is about an hour south of Nashville. The police stood between about 200 counter-protesters and various white supremacist factions as they exchanged chants. At least one white supremacist was seen throwing up a Nazi salute, while others were chanting or carrying shields and had on helmets chanting "White Lives Matter" and "Blood and Soil." Counter-protesters heckled them from the other side of the street, offering free genetic testing to the so-called master race. Later that afternoon, the groups planned to move to a main event, which was a rally in the town of Murfreesboro, a larger college town about 25 miles back from Nashville. But because of the huge showing by counter-protesters, it got canceled. So good job to you counter-protesters. I do have a few thoughts about the White Lives Matter movement, but so did many of you. First thoughts show that while White Lives Matter is a direct response to Black Lives Matter, other lives are being threatened too by this showing of white nationalism and supremacy. Eugene Ju said this on Twitter: "I am an Asian American, and the White Lives Matter rallies along with all this makes me fear for my life in Tennessee." He goes on to say in a thread, "I've already been physically assaulted and called a chink in the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital parking garage. Now I wonder what's next. In fact, he continues, I get so many death threats. The Vanderbilt police called me last week and opened an intimidation report. America is changing. At Passport Control said this on Twitter. If hundreds of Muslims gathered wearing body armor and to rally about our Islamic pride, we'd be rounded up and deported. At Angie Marie EG sent a message saying, Dear White Lives Matter group, please stop saying we're not going to be replaced. A bit of melanin is not scary. I'm sorry, Angie Marie EG, but melanin is scary, especially when you think you're completely devoid of it. Which brings me to this comment by US_Emperor Trump. White Lives Matter? Don't you mean European descendants whose DNA will show Middle Eastern and African traces lives matter? Yikes. Now you know they are not trying to hear that history lesson. The evolution of what we now call white, that's not a part of the story they're trying to focus on, even though the whole white pride thing is an effort to try to purge any and all Black and Middle Eastern from their DNA. Which explains kind of what happened in Brentwood, Tennessee, shortly after those white power rallies fizzled out. The police are now searching for a white man who hit a white woman as she was sitting with a Black man in a pub after the White Lives Matter rallies were held in Tennessee. According to eyewitness statements in the police report, here is what undisputedly happened. A couple, an interracial couple, a 30-year-old white woman and a 37-year-old Black man were sitting at a table in a restaurant when a group of 20 to 30 white men and women entered this restaurant. These people sat at a table directly behind this couple when, according to the woman, one of the individuals asked her to guess. She responded, White Lives Matter. Another said, that's right, and told her to join their table and leave her Black boyfriend sitting there. An argument inside escalated, even after the female victim went outside to try to de-escalate the situation. One of the women in the group reportedly began to argue with the victim when a man struck her in the face with his fist, causing a cut above her eye. Check out this video of the altercation.
What's the solution? You want to rather get a fight with them or maybe report it so I can show people on social media? Stop judging other people. Get out there and tell them to stop. Don't judge me. Thank you. With your shit, whatever the costume you got on. How about let people be aware of it as opposed to getting mad at me? Are you go out there and tell them to stop?
I'm not mad at you. I'm sorry.
Do you want me to go out there and get beat up? Would that be better?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God, she's bleeding.
No,
What's wrong with this place? Not this place.
No.
The world, this country.
This is a white.
I don't want you to say, I'm not talking about this restaurant or establishment. I want you to.
Here's what's so crazy about this, which I found to be succinctly stated by @HingeBeat on Twitter. Which white lives do White Lives Matter actually care about? Is it the women who exercise reproductive rights? It's not the LGBTQ lives. It's not the poor, the trans folks, the people struggling on minimum wage, not the disabled, not the mentally ill. Who then? And I thought the same thing because you have here a white man hitting a white woman after these rallies. Here's the thing. For infinity and beyond, this is all about the straight white man. And they're going to want to keep things the way that they are. And they're going to fight for it, blood, sweat, and tears. So for my one thought on this topic, I can't sit here and let y'all think that showing love and kindness can be the sole weapons that we're going to use for both offense and defense during this time. Because it's not just happening here. In Quebec, a law has been passed banning face coverings for anyone who wants to receive public services. Now, they say they're not targeting anyone, but we know this is a direct attack on Muslim women who wear niqabs and burqas. Niqabs, they basically show just the eyes. Burqas cover everything. This new law would make it so that they would have to uncover their faces anytime they needed to show identification. This means that in order to ask a question of library staff or get seen at a hospital or a clinic, to attend university classes, to try to get court documents from a clerk, or pick their children up from daycare. It also includes the inability to have certain jobs, like be a bus driver or be a librarian, or even a school teacher. 67% of residents of Quebec actually favor this law. The Prime Minister says that he's looking into this legislation because he doesn't think that it's the government's business to tell a woman what she should or should not be wearing. And as a federal government, he takes his responsibility seriously and will look carefully at what the implications are. Now, while this Quebec law doesn't stipulate fines or sanctions for those who fail to comply, that hasn't stopped other nations from doing so. Germany currently bans women from driving if they don't remove their burqa or niqab. Their reasoning is, we need to ensure the driver's identity can be determined if they're caught speeding. What? They're actually fined 60 euros, which is about $70. That's crazy. In Germany, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel has announced her full support for this move, saying full face veils are not acceptable in their country and has called for them to be banned wherever it is legally possible. In Austria, their government is telling Muslim women, show your faces or be fined. Both niqabs and burqas are banned and come with a fine of 150 euros, which is 175 US dollars. And it comes with an order by the police to remove their garment on the spot. And those who refuse will be taken into police custody and arrested. Holy moly. Listen, y'all, we have to connect these dots. When black lives are being marginalized, brown lives are too. When yellow lives are being marginalized, brown lives are too. We must stand together as the global majority against white supremacy. It's happening everywhere. In New York City, strippers are going on strike dealing with racism and colorism as they protest shady business practices in their clubs. The strippers claim that dancers with dark skin are heavily discriminated against and are not permitted to dance during high-earning nights such as parties hosted by celebrities. Club owners are either not allowing the darker-skinned dancers to dance on those nights at all, or simply banning them from the VIP areas where they would be able to earn more. The strippers are also calling out shady business practices in which clubs will bring in famous social media influencers or outside bartenders, which means that the money from the patrons are going to the bartenders instead of the dancers. In addition to the bartenders dressed as strippers and getting the patrons' money, the strippers claim that bartenders will outright take the money that patrons are throwing at the dancers. Listen, I'm like, what? That's crazy. Let's go to some comments about this really quickly. At @big_spank said, the conversation and concerns are 100% valid. This has nothing to do with hating on bartenders. Sass on Twitter said, y'all see that video where the bartender was stealing the dancers' money straight off the stage? Try that mess in Atlanta. Now, I know I got on my fine church hat and my fine church clothes looking all saintly. But if y'all will allow me to refer back to my days when I was living in sin and a worldly life, we all know the strip club code. If you're a woman and you go to a strip club, what is the first thing they tell you when you get there? Number one, that you're welcome to come in. Number two, that you aren't allowed to dance. So where do bartenders get off? Not only on dancing in stripper attire and going out on the floor and dancing for money, but also taking money off the floor that was clearly intended for the dancers. I don't care what you all think about sex work. At the end of the day, this is a workplace employment issue, and that's serious. Imagine if you were going to work every day and someone kept stealing your pay or kept excluding you from opportunities because of the color of your skin. Wait, many of y'all are already experiencing that. So I'm glad that these women have decided to gather together to organize against these conditions to make things better. Many of you guys did have great points on this issue on social media, particularly Takia Thompson, known as @unrulybabyhair on Twitter. She said this in a thread. There's a lot of respectability politics at play with the whole bartender stripper dynamic. Like a lot of bartenders be on some holier than thou-ish just to turn around and also shake they in the club. Nobody is saying bartenders can't secure their bag. They just can't be infringing upon the bags of the strippers. Well said. Melissa B, known as Black Feminist MB on Twitter, said this in a thread. The hashtag NYC stripper strike might very well be a first Black women's movement centered on strip club in the digital age. At Candace Benbaus echoed this sentiment. She said, tackling colorism and wage discrimination using social media and digital activism centering women maligned for their sexual agency. Yes, for all of you feminists out there, Black, brown, Asian, whomever, using your skill sets, your resources, your academia, all that stuff we be talking on social media, you should be focusing on this issue here. With this said, you know there are a lot of legal issues I see here. And you know I'm an advocate for using the law for change. And I would like to point to this comment by Melissa B. She says, at any rate, this bartender dancer hybrid seems to be like a good way to lose a liquor license. I hope y'all are watching this because I'm with Melissa B here. Start there. What do y'all think about this stripper strike? Tell us in the comments, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Hello, Evil Corp. We are F Society. Over the years, we've been watching you. Your financial abuse of the poor, your corruption of governments, your cover-ups of the murder of innocent, ordinary citizens, all for the sake of profit. This is why we at F Society have decided you must die. We are malicious and hostile. We do not compromise. We are relentless. We will not stop until every tentacle of your evil monstrosity is sliced off at the nerve. Consider yourself warned.
And welcome back to FCN Prime News. In this second half, allow us to introduce you to Carlos Smith. Smith is the first gay Latino ever to be elected to the Florida state legislature. And after the Pulse shooting and now the Las Vegas shooting, he is more than determined than ever to get guns away from maniacs. In this upcoming legislative session, he plans to champion a ban on assault weapons, representing a community still healing from a gun tragedy that aims squarely at everything that he represents. But for Smith, it hasn't been an easy feat to try to pass this type of legislation in a state like Florida. He tried in the 2017 session, his first session in office. He tried to pass similar legislation, but the ban never got a vote from the Florida's very Republican-dominated state house. And that was just months after the attack on Pulse, where 49 people were murdered in the Orlando gay bar, the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history up to that time. But it's a fight the LGBT community in Orlando has joined furiously after the Pulse tragedy unfolded. A chapter of Gays Against Guns has formed, and it has become increasingly vocal. The group earlier this month could be seen holding a banner at a press conference announcing Mr. Smith's legislation. He filed this legislation on October 3rd, which would do this: prohibit the sale of assault weapons and large capacity magazines, and require certification and conditions for possession of weapons bought before a certain date. In his eyes, gun control in the wake of the recent shootings should be viewed as an LGBT issue itself. He says this: I've traveled around the country and spoken to LGBTQ groups, and the passion and energy behind supporting gun legislation is very obvious. And the reason why is because we've learned LGBTQ people are disproportionately hurt by gun violence. If you're looking to put charity and volunteer efforts to good use, or considering to get more involved politically, consider supporting this lawmaker. FCN, of course, isn't endorsing him as a candidate, as we haven't done a full platform and policy review, but we're simply letting you know that he is out there. In Michigan, another politician is rising. She's a progressive millennial who wants to replace a two-term Republican in the United States Congress. Her name is Farouz Syed, and she could be America's first Muslim woman in Congress. She's only 34 years old, a college freshman when the two planes struck the World Trade Center on September 11th. But she says that that was the realest time she truly realized that the stereotypes against Arabs and Muslims was a real thing. The child of immigrants and a practicing Muslim, Miss Syed grew up in the heavily Arab American city of Dearborn, Michigan. Now she's hoping to bring this fight to the highest levels of American politics, and she's running for Congress in Michigan's 11th district, hoping to replace the very white, the very male, the very Republican representative office, David Trott. And if she succeeds, she will be the first Muslim woman ever to serve in the U.S. Congress. This is huge. Again, if you are looking to put your charity and volunteer efforts to good use, consider supporting this potential lawmaker. Again, we're not endorsing her as a candidate, as we haven't done a full platform and policy review, but we are letting you know that she is out there. In other news, an 11-year-old Colorado girl has been inspired by the Flint, Michigan water crisis, and she's used that inspiration to find an easy, quick test for lead in water, and she has now been named the winner of the 2017 Discovery Education 3M Young Scientist Challenge. Her name is Gitanyana Ryo. I know I just butchered that. And she has created a device that is sensor-based that can detect lead in water faster than any of the current techniques. Yes, she's 11. She said the current tests for lead in water are too cumbersome and expensive and time-consuming. And she said, again, she was inspired by the crisis in Flint where lead levels have surged in the water source since April 2014. And by the way, everyone, they still do not have clean water. Her invention uses a mobile app that populates the water status almost immediately, the company said in announcing her award. The invention is designed to be portable, easy to use, and allowing individuals to test water safety whenever needed by using a disposable cartridge, a 9-volt battery, and a smartphone as tools. 3M and Discovery Education said that the middle school student was awarded the title of America's top young scientist, as well as $25,000 prize for her work. Congratulations to her. That is amazing. And with that, we are going to kick it over to the Sports Corner with J-Co Is It, our resident sports guy. He's got some great stories for you guys tonight. Take it away, J-Co.
Hello and welcome to FCN Prime Sports on this All Hallows Eve. I am J-Co, fighting gender norms as the wicked white witch of the Western Conference. Ball is life. In our top story tonight, speaking of balling, I will be discussing the horrors of the year so far in the sports world. Gordon Hayward, #1 horror, broke his ankle. And we're not talking about someone who performed a sham god on him. We talking about the man came down on his ankle, snapped it in half, out for the season. Nasty. Lucky for the Celtics, they actually have been granted an exception for that injury, so they will have some cap space to try and replace Hayward. But someone of that caliber, they're before the scene playoff hopes and possibly beating the Cavs. Well, those are as broken as Hayward's ankle. In my next story, another horror of the sports world of 2017. I'm sticking with that the whole time. Keeping their eye off the ball. See, I forgot my hashtag and everything. The Atlanta Falcons up in this year's Super Bowl on the Patriots. Let the Patriots score 19 points in the fourth quarter and then lost it in overtime. Huge, horrible choke job, but more importantly, every single person who knows a Boston fan cried in agony because they are the most obnoxious football fans out there, and there are quite a few. In my next eye off the ball horror story of 2017 sports, the FBI, and this is recent, finally have issued indictments in the NCAA for corruption, for bribery, for money laundering. One of the most notable names in that, Louisville coach Rick Pitino, who has, since that accusation and since they have revealed their investigation, has been fired, although not really yet, from the Louisville head coaching job. This was on the heels of a sex scandal that was uncovered 2 years ago at the University of Louisville that is still on ongoing investigation. So University of Louisville, not such a good look in college basketball. And my final horror story of 2017, who kept his eye off the ball, the one and only Conor McGregor. What was he thinking? He didn't take his eye off the ball from losing the match. He should have never taken the match in the first place. You got your ass whooped by a man who was in 2 years, his second year of retirement. Former champion, undefeated Floyd Money Mayweather beat the snot, literally, out of our good friend McGregor. Conor, that was a horrible, horrible decision. Keep your eye on the ball. Go back to what you know. Probably shouldn't even go back to UFC, even though he is. You should take a note from Ronda Rousey. Get in that WWE ring. Make your money. Save your body. You almost lost your brain, literally, by getting it pummeled by Money Mayweather. And that is all of my stories, my horror sports stories of 2017. This has been J. Cole, breaking gender norms as the wicked white witch of the Western Conference. Ball is life. We're going to cut to commercial break, and then we will be back with the revolution and pop culture. Stay tuned.
The next question needs to be yours or my place. Your chocolate skin, your chocolate skin. Turn the lights low, don't let me tell you again. I wanna put my mouth on your heart. Super soft lips kissing on my face. The next question needs to be yours or my place. Your chocolate skin, your chocolate skin. Turn the lights low, don't let me tell you again. I wanna put my mouth on your heart. Chocolate skin, your chocolate skin.
What up, fools? This your galactic gang banging homie. Vice Lord Vader. What up, fool? On the fin. Stack it. Stack it on the fin. Oh my God, this is so. I pray to God when I go back home
Go for it.
that I don't get shot, that I don't
'cause-
get accosted and beat up. I'm too old to be getting jumped
All we know is G's. So.
by some 16-year-olds because I play too much on social media. This mask is ridiculous. This mask is absolutely ridiculous. Vice Lord
Vice Lord Vader.
Vice Lord Vader is suffocating. If real Vader is living in this hell, I can see why he's so angry and why he wants everybody dead. Because that big James Earl Jones Negro is in pain. This mask is awful. But hey, I did it for the culture.
It's awful.
I don't regret anything that I've done. I don't regret it. But you know what though? There's no way in hell I can do these stories.
Taking it out.
Can I take it off?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God.
There you go.
Woo! Puerto Rican Kramer is back. Look like Puerto Rican Kramer, man.
Wow, we are not white balanced on that camera.
Nah.
No, sir.
Oh man.
Orange Vader.
Orange Vader. My skin is popping though.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool though. I mean, you know.
Light's good.
The niggas wish they could be me. You know what I mean? Hey, how's y'all doing out there? It's the Revolution, and this is some pop culture stories on Prime News. Our first story, after all that silliness, this isn't very silly at all. It's actually more horrible news in the wake of Harvey Weinstein being brought out to be a pedophile, Godzilla, Kong-like giant monster devouring. Is he pedophile too? No, I'm sure. If you out here raping women, I'm sure you didn't touch a couple
That
underage girls.
Oh yeah, that
So I think that those are mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say that?
You can.
I'm not a psychologist, but I'm gonna say that.
I'm not a doctor either. as
Oh,
Twitter
I'm
has-
not a doctor either.
Twitter-
Due to
as
the,
Twitter has told us, I am a redneck, but you are not a doctor.
I am not a doctor. I have just played one on Twitter, obviously. Actor of stage and screen veteran Anthony Rapp has come out and he has given everyone a story in '92 that alleges that Kevin Spacey, the actor, Kevin Spacey, came on to him sexually and very aggressively when he was at the age of 14 years old. Anthony Rapp also alleges that in this incident that Kevin Spacey swooped him up like a bride and took him into his bedroom, laid him down on his bed, fell on top of him in almost a mounting position, thrusting and pressing into him. He said that he was definitely 14 years old and it was something that he can never forget. He came out and he made a statement on social media recanting this story. And then Kevin Spacey not only responded, but he came out of his, is it like a glass closet? Is there a glass closet?
That exists.
It's not even a mirrored
Yes.
closet. That closet was a see-through closet. We was like, bitch, we knew you was gay this whole time, Kevin Spacey. Where that space come from? Oh, bossy bottom ass Spacey. That's what he's known in the lifestyle as bossy bottom Spacey.
I've heard that one
I've heard that.
in circles.
Lots of circles. Big circles. You can hear echo in that chamber. Anyway, Anthony Rapp came out and with the story. Kevin Spacey then came out and says that he's gonna live his life from now on as an out gay man, which everybody knew. But however, you want to go, yay, Kevin Spacey gets to live his life out how he so chooses. But not so fast, Mr. Spacey, because Netflix was like, You don't get your rapist ass up out this car. Yeah, Netflix went ahead and dropped his ass off from their hit and acclaimed program, House of Cards. It will wrap up after its 6th season. That's next season. They are going ahead and calling it quits. I know right now that your girl Robin Wright is somewhere kicking somebody because he is over there messing with that coin. Okay, Kevin, you mess with Robin Wright's coin. We thought your character was going to get killed. We thought Frances was going to die anyway, and she was going to move on to become president, and we was going to have some new storylines because you said you didn't want to be on the show no more anyway. So it was like, fine, get your weird ass up out of here anyway, you old boy touching old pedo creep ass Spacey. Oh, Kevin, creepy ass. Oh, Kevin, boy, booty touching ass Nick. So,
Living in glass closet, boy.
Oh yeah, glass closet, sleeping in the H&M dressing. I don't know. So yeah, I feel real bad. Anthony Rapp, I feel really happy for him. Excited that he got that weight off his chest. But you know the thing, I want to tie this into us. You know I have to. The angle that bothers me here is Netflix readily they didn't wait to hear from their fan base to say, hey, we don't like this. This is not going to go well. They were proactive. They did not wait for the LGBT community. They did not wait for victims to come out and be like, y'all need to do X, Y, Z. I'm looking at you, HBO. I'm looking at you, HBO. You wanna know why? Because y'all still are going ahead with Confederate. After you had how many people come out against it and said that they were hurt. But you know, we going back to this as usual. Y'all don't care about black pain. You only seem to care about white pain. You didn't care when Lupita Nyong'o came out and said, hey, Harvey had me in a room and yeah. Shut up, you black so-and-so. Shut your black ass up. These beautiful white women is talking, and that's the only people we want to listen to. So, yeah. And HBO said they ain't listening to us. They didn't listen to the black women that put together No Confederate, which is pretty ironic in itself because those same black women have not unsubscribed from HBO. Because why? Oh, that would mess up one of their own's coin. That's right. Your girl Issa Rae. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Does that mess with her coin?
It does.
With her coin, yes.
And they don't want that. Oh yeah, because Issa, because she was quiet, they was like, you know what? Thank you, Issa. We gonna give you another show.
They said we got y'all.
Were you waiting for that, or was that just well timed?
Off top.
I know it was off the top, but I just kind of wanted to steal the shine off of it because I'm a hater.
That was good, Jacob.
It was great. It was great. It was so great that I'm moving away from it. Poof. My next story. Warner Brothers has decided to cast officially for their upcoming Shazam picture. Shazam was actually a character that rivaled Superman back in his earlier days and actually surpassed the Blue One himself in sales. He's known as Captain Marvel. He had a 70s action show starring some white man that we all forgot. I don't know what that man's name is. He's somewhere at the con begging for a $5 autograph. Like, we don't know who you are. We ain't gonna know who you are, fam. But nevertheless, they cast it, and several people out there, I don't have nobody's tweets because I didn't really care to highlight them or showcase them at all. But certainly, there are a lot of people who are upset. Before I even mention who the guy is that has won this, I would say coveted, but I don't think it's very coveted. I don't think most of you even care about Shazam at all.
Shazam.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. His name ain't even Shazam. He's Captain Marvel. But because he says Shazam to turn into Captain Marvel, well, Billy Batson says Shazam. I'm falling down a nerd spiral right now. So, Layman, actually, his name is not Shazam. It is Captain Marvel, in which they lost a lawsuit to Marvel to call him Captain Marvel, hence the name Layman. So, yeah. So, here are the picks of the men that I think should have been casted as Shazam. My number 3 pick goes to Liam Hemsworth. Look at Liam. Look at Liam. He's perfect. He would be an amazing Shazam. He would be an absolutely.
Yes.
Would you agree? Fantastic Shazam. Look at those chiseled. Look at that jawline. Look at those rugged white boy good looks.
Nordic even.
Very Nordic. Very Nordic. Very nautic. Because they all like boats for some reason. They like sailing on them in the dead of winter in Lake Michigan, and they love putting Negroes on them and selling them across vast oceans to take them to various colonies to crop cotton and sugarcane, molasses, bedwinches.
That tangent just happened.
Okay, yeah. So, nevertheless, Liam Hemsworth, number 2. Who's my number 2, J. Cole?
Kellen Lutz.
Look at Kellen Lutz.
this
Look
guy.
at him.
Wait a minute. That is Shazam.
I said Shazam. Look at that dude, man.
Yeah.
That boy is like carved out of like white marble. Because there's different shades of marble.
Finest.
I'm not gonna go there, but go ahead, keep going with that one. I'm gonna let you know. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Improv. Go ahead, Improv Apostle.
No.
Let's go, Improv Paul. Let's get the good folks some more of your brilliance.
Oh.
We're waiting. No, I think he would have been an amazing Shazam. I think he would have been spectacular. Look, he has a superhero physique right now. He has the eyebrows.
Yep.
Shazam needs those eyebrows. He needs that dark hair.
That look.
He looks intense. But there's still a little quality about him that looks like he could have played a man-child, a child with a man's body due to magic. That's what the character. Yeah. Miss Tresnay is over there looking like, what is happening? Comic books are very weird. Very, very weird. And then that's not a good character. I did not pick this story to follow up Kevin Spacey out here trying to rape a 14-year-old boy, and then I come back with a character who becomes a grown man after a little boy says a magic word. Like, this is all bad. I hope nobody draws a parallel. Maybe they didn't until I said
Until
it.
you brought it up. There's parallels drawn.
Well, Shazam! I'm out of it. No, didn't work magically for me. Oh, well. Number 1 is...
Oh, wow. Alan Richardson. Hold on. I changed my last pick. This is the guy. Look at him.
Look at him.
Look at him.
Look at him. Am I right?
That chin.
Look at that chin.
Drawn.
All they had to do was dye that fool's hair. That's it. All they had to do was give him that signature dark hair, and he would have been Shazam. He would have been. Oh my God, he was amazing in what was the name of the series that I liked the first one, then each one got worse. The one with the Native American chick who they made white, and then all the white people got mad because a little girl who was black in the book was actually cast as black, and I'm like, what are y'all? Did y'all read the book? But y'all didn't. Oh, Hunger Games.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Hunger Games.
Hunger.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at who, in fact,
I'm excited to find out.
Win the geek coveted role, because mainstream don't care about Shazam. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you who? The dude that played Chuck. Y'all casted Chuck. Y'all cast NBC's Chuck. That's the dude y'all cast.
That's not real, is it?
That's real. They cast the dude that's Chuck. I haven't seen him since Chuck. Oh my God.
I haven't seen Chuck.
You've never watched Chuck. Chuck wasn't bad. But he's not, dude. He's not Shazam, man. That is, see, this is. I know y'all get upset with me, but it starts with casting. Like people, I read an article where someone was talking about that we get upset because of the business sense that Marvel has versus what DC has, and that Marvel has made better business sense with their cinematic universe and their films. Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Isn't the whole idea of making a film, choosing an entire film from the director, the writer, the producers, and then the cast, the editors, the whole crew for business? You want to make the best film possible that makes the most money because that makes sense for business.
Isn't that the whole point?
I think that you want to have as many people in your theater repeatedly coming back because you've made the best business sense out there. You want to know why a lot of indie films don't cross over? Because they suck.
Simply put, by the Revolution.
I'm talking them damn indie movies is trash. They're trash. Stop acting like I don't care about your artistic integrity. This movie sucks. Just because you got some French Parisian accordion and someone smoking the long cigarette and you are speaking in another language and you are going to use angles that were outdated from the 60s does not mean that your film is going to be Oscar worthy. I'll just put the smoke out. Lastly, I just wanted to say happy Halloween out there, everybody. I actually had a couple people that I wanted to shout out because of their cosplay. They were amazing. A lot of people didn't get back to me. One person did, and I really wanted to shout her out. Miss Pamela. Pamela, what's her last name? Vogel?
Yes.
Is it on there?
It's not on there.
You didn't pull it up?
Did
Nope.
you send it?
Yep.
Okay, nope.
So it's not on there. We'll still put it up on the website. We'll put it up on social media to shout you out. And Miss DePia, oh my God, please don't witch hunt me. I am awful with y'all names. I can barely say Trezenae's name correctly. Okay, like I am horrible with names. If your name is not from the King's English, I am sorry. But I am a Northerner. I am a Yankee. I am a God-fearing 30-something% white man. And I'm a red-blooded American. And I speak American. And you all better speak American too. Because I'm just joking, guys. I'm sorry. I let the improv thing get away from me. I'm the Revolution. Please be kind to me on social media. Stay tuned. We have a little bit more of Prime News, perhaps. Bye.
Did he just come for my name? Like, I cannot believe. People just be coming for. It's okay. It's okay. Trezenae means awesome, amazing, most beautiful church mother in her black hats. That's what it means. Listen, that's a wrap for today. Happy Halloween to everyone. I hope you guys have a safe Halloween. Go get some candy. Try not to beat up any little kids for their candy. Get you some candy corn. It's delicious. With that, you guys already know we'll be back on Wednesday with the pregame show for Mr. Robot. If you guys have not watched this pregame show, you are missing out. You don't even have to know anything about Mr. Robot. You just need to tune in and just get ready to be entertained. And with that, we'll come back with FCN Prime News on Thursday and the Skinner pregame show. And with that, we are out.